Okay, welcome again to another episode of Take File. It is the night before the NBA draft, so we have a special pre-draft episode today, and
It's a golf cart.
We have a guest. He's not appearing on camera today because his face is a little ugly. Well, all right. So today we have with us the high school henchman, the Peach Jam Predator, the McDonald's All-American Acolyte. He must be on a federal list the way he be following kids. So many scoops, they call him the Ice Cream Man. He hasn't been outside in months the way he's an insider. The college transfer con man and Mr. Student Stalker himself, Sam of 24/7 High School Hoops. How are you?
I'm good, boys. Thanks for having me on the pod. I'm out on the golf course.
In some tree trouble, huh?
Oh, dude, I'm in the clearly right now.
Clearly.
I was just on the other hole, so I guess this tree is.
Yeah, it seems like an improvement.
All right. So before we get to the draft, there was some breaking news we have to get to today. The Clippers, the Wizards, and the Celtics appear to be approaching some sort of three-team trade where the Porzingis is going to Boston, Malcolm Brogdon is going to the Clippers, and Marcus Morris and draft compensation is going to Washington. I think that was updated later to say Marcus Morris and Amir Coffey, Minnesota legend Amir Coffey, is going to
the Wizards, bro.
To Washington. He wasn't exactly going to get playing time on the Clippers.
I didn't know
anyway.
that.
I think I saw that somewhere. I think it was Woj. I have Shams pulled up right
possible. My guys are telling me the same thing.
Yeah.
So,
and then the pick is number 30, right?
Yep.
Of
What
tomorrow's
pick?
draft.
Whose pick?
For the Clippers pick that's going to Washington.
We're giving them a first round pick?
It's one of them, I guess.
Kristaps, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like hardly a
I
first
guess
rounder.
it's like the last. It's the last first round.
Yeah,
pick.
I mean, it technically for them it's for Brogdon, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's your reaction to this?
Who cares? I don't know. Like I don't like.
Really?
Like,
It's a pretty
I mean,
big
Kristaps,
trade.
like I don't know, dude. Like I don't think that really puts either that. I don't know how much better that's gonna really make Boston.
You don't
Like,
think
I
it moves the needle at all?
Not really. Like I don't know. Like you guys that hype on Kristaps Porzingis still?
He had a pretty good year.
You love Porzingis, Sam.
Sure.
I don't like. I think he's like a solid defensive big that can stretch the floor. I don't know. Like I think it moves the needle for Boston more than like any other of the teams, other than like the Wizards towards the bottom. You know.
How
that was the best.
How was
Go ahead,
Brogdon this year?
Brogdon was the
Sixth
sixth
man
man of the
Man of the
year.
year. Man of the year.
Okay,
He
well,
was-
there
he
you
was
go.
Solid.
There you go. That's got to be a big loss for
Identity
you know.
changer.
Yeah,
I think
totally.
that is a big loss for Boston. I don't know. Like I think it just feels like they're trying to like patch leaks wherever they can find it, and not really addressing bigger issues. Like it just seems like,
Like what?
they're not like. I guess like the issue with Al Horford. I get people had big issue with Al Horford, and I saw some stats that are a little alarming about him being like the 20,
Well, wouldn't
like,
this address
best.
that?
I know, but like I never thought it was Al's fault. I was a big Horford guy. I will always have been a big Horford guy, and I thought he played his role pretty well there. Like I thought that their bigger issues were kind of like lack of direction in like the guard department, and like now we're going back to just can be smart the whole game. Like what are we doing? Derek White, like he's also wasn't awesome. Like I don't think
know.
their guards behind like.
I think that there was a sort of a logjam with the three of those guys. I at the guard position, and I think that one of them could have easily been expendable to go. Brogdon.
Wait, who are you saying? Who are you saying the log jam is between?
Smart, White, and Brogdon.
But Brogdon was by far the best one of the three.
Well, why wasn't he starting then?
Statistically, he was by far not the best player. Than always one who starts. Like the better player than always one who starts.
I don't think.
Are they ever going to trade Marcus Smart? Like you can't. If I'm Boston, you can't.
He's the issue.
You can't trade him. He is Boston. Like when I think of the Celtics, I go Brown, Tatum, Smart. Like Smart just resembles like Boston tough. So I just find it like hard to. It would be hard to trade him. Like honestly, he's just been there forever. I think that's tougher to trade him for the city at least than either of the other guys.
And I think Brogdon's. You get more value out of it. I think more teams would want Brogdon over Smart. I think that's probably where it was kind of coming from. But like I don't know. I thought Brogdon had a good year and maybe was down in the playoffs, but I don't know. Like I don't think this is the fix. Like I don't know.
I think that I don't really super understand it from the Clippers standpoint. I don't think it moves the needle that much for them. I think they have Bones Highland, they have Eric Gordon, now they have Brogdon. Like it's just like three offense first dudes who I guess Brogdon's more of a distributor than like
he's way smarter than like the rest of them.
Way higher IQ. Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't see them being that much. It's really just comes down to health with them, still.
Whether they want to play.
And I guess it's like that just will continue to be the way until they trade Kawhi or PG, which apparently PG might be on the market. So,
and just add another guy to that it's always about health. Just throw Porzingis right in there.
That's true.
That's
you can't stay healthy.
It's tough. Yeah, and that's the main issue. So
he played. He played 60-something games last year, I thought.
But historically, I also hate him in the Celtics uniform.
Missing like 20 games.
Yeah, the jersey swap of Porzingis in the Celtics jersey looks disgusting.
It looks weird.
That's a bad edit. Yeah. That's a bad edit.
I mean, I feel like it's going to take a while to get used to. Yeah, 65 games. He met the threshold for all NBA. That's coming this year.
Awesome. That's awesome. Great.
Okay. Any last notes on that before we move on to Beal?
How does it affect Chris Paul?
That's just going to be like he's not going to be in Washington, right? That's like what we're all thinking. No. He's going to be somewhere else.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know how quickly that's going to happen. But
I don't like. Is it going to be I don't think it'll be the Clippers now, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's not going to be the Clippers. Boston?
Maybe. Yeah, I like Chris Paul in Boston.
That'd be gross.
I do like Chris Paul in Boston.
That'd be like just the most random. I don't know. That's yeah.
The fit kind of makes sense though.
Yeah, it's not terrible, but
okay. This is a good segue into the Beal trade, because last time we spoke, huh?
Did we talk about it last week?
No. We talked about Beal, but the trade had not happened.
Okay.
Yeah. So what are your first reactions to the Beal trade?
I mean, like, it was about what
you can't keep saying who cares about these like big
I'm not what I said. It's not what I fucking said. What I'm saying is that like
the
Wizards are just like dog shit franchise, poverty franchise, and who really gives a fuck?
Oh my god!
It's Bradley Beal. He's not that good. He doesn't really play that much. Like I don't know. Like I don't know why the Suns would even want him. Like I don't get it on either really end. Like you give him this big contract, at least make him stick it out. Don't just like fold to his request for not wanting to be there anymore and wanting to maybe win a championship after he signs that. And on the Suns' end, I don't think it makes them all that much better. I don't think he's all that much good anymore.
I think it makes sense for the Wizards. I think they just wanted to get rid of him and be terrible.
I guess if you want him to be that bad, but like
I think that's probably what they should do.
I mean,
It's like,
He wasn't going to play anyways.
Isn't it the best in the NBA when the guys are like, yeah, dude, I'm going to stay loyal to my team. Like, I love my team. I never want to go anywhere. Then they get that super max, and it feels a little different.
1 year later.
Exactly, and that's what happened with Brad Beal. And I think we all saw it coming, and it's very obvious here at the end of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
like it's just like. Go ahead, Sam.
I think that it's just sort of like emblematic of how it's like the smaller market franchises want to hold on to their stars. They don't want them to leave, so they sign them to these super maxes. I think the big problem with it was the no trade clause, the only one that existed in the NBA. It's just like random, I mean, who knows what the negotiations
It was the worst contract. It was one of the worst contracts.
And the return was like so obviously so bad for even like, I don't know, even if you're really low on Bradley Beal, like that return was pretty fucking
shocking.
bad.
It's shocking. Like they got nothing.
Yeah,
the return is like, hey, can I give you my old PSP for your PS5 right now? Like, what? It's like, yeah, the PS5 might suck in a couple of years, but you're gonna have my PSP right now. It makes no sense.
Yeah, and then like a few batteries,
The charging cord.
Here's my Shamit branded battery.
Yeah, some second round picks. Yeah.
I don't know. Does this elevate? How much does that elevate the Suns for you guys, though?
I think actually the way I've been thinking about it is like, if I still think they're not better than the Nuggets, okay, but I think that if you had Bradley Beal in the Shamit role last year, like when Chris Paul was injured, not last year, like during the playoffs. I think that they could have like probably gotten another game, maybe, because of like the how Bradley Beal's just much more of a dynamic player, and they were able to play at this like much faster pace. I don't think Kevin Durant or Devin Booker has a problem with like distribution or running an offense. I don't think they needed like a traditional table setter like Chris Paul to run high pick and roll with DeAndre Ayton 50 times.
I agree with you. And like the one thing I will say about Bradley Beal is he's very comfortable not having the ball necessarily in his hands all the time.
Yeah.
Like he's comfortable slotted next to guys who need the ball. Like see that with like his John Wall experience. Like he's fine creating off ball for himself, kind of in that role. So give him that. But I don't know.
So I mean, I think that the his numbers were actually a lot better with John Wall than like when he.
Well, he was way better then.
Well, yeah, no, I think it goes twofold. Is that like I mean, well, I'm talking about mostly about his percentages. It's like his percentages were better because he was taking better shots, because he wasn't have to take like fucking step back threes with a hand in his face because the rest of his team is dog shit,
Yeah. Sure.
So I don't know.
Bradley Beal. The Wizards are a poverty franchise. I don't know what else is really to be. Like they will be for a long, long time. Like Johnny Davis, that guy's terrible. That may have been the worst pick last year.
Yeah, their draft has been so bad, and like
that guy is horrible.
The Hachimura move also sort of like was a head scratcher.
Made no sense.
Although I think that like Hachimura just like didn't like being there in the first place.
Shocker.
Yeah.
What happens to Kuz?
He declined his option.
Yeah, free agent.
Apparently,
he's a winning player. So go
guys
go
never
get him.
won anything.
Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, ready to move on to the draft?
Yeah.
All right. Let's take a 30-second break. Okay, so the NBA draft is happening tomorrow, and it's pretty clear cut. Sorry, Ike, that Victor Wembanyama is going to be going to the Spurs.
It doesn't hurt me. It hurts the Spurs.
So I want to bring in our draft expert here. Sam, what do you think about Victor from what you've seen so far?
Well, there's absolutely nobody saying that they don't like Victor except, I guess, Ike here. But, I mean,
Listen, I
haven't heard
like
of
him. It's
You're-
just
well,
some
then
people love his forehand. Nothing. Go on.
Go on.
But yeah, no. For me, it's like what's not to like about Victor? I mean, he's literally like he is the unicorn. I mean, I went out to watch. When Bronny went out to play in Europe this year, I actually went out to his team, like where they play their games, and he was there. I was like, I actually got to see him in person, and I was like,
really?
holy, oh yeah, it was amazing. I literally got to see him. It was insane. The
That's
guy
awesome.
is massive. He took a picture with my boss, who's like 6'2", 6'3", and it was like nothing I've ever seen before. It's absolutely ridiculous.
You see the picture of his hands with the baseball?
Yeah.
Should we be worried about that?
Hands
What?
too big?
Well,
Too big of hands? Too
are his
long of
hands
arms?
too big? Like,
Too long of arms, maybe?
I think Dwight Howard always said his hands were too big to be good at free throws.
Yeah, that's why. He totally worked on them all the
I
time.
think Shaq O'Neal said something like that too, but
Yeah, but
I'm just
Yeah,
have you seen that?
notorious grinder Shaquille O'Neal.
have you seen Dwight in Taiwan though? He's been wetting threes.
He's cooking.
Yeah, his arm's still a little smaller though.
Is just about the time and place for Dwight. Okay.
No, but getting back to Victor, I mean,
yeah.
I feel like his floor is something like Porzingis. Like, I don't feel like he's going to be any worse than something like that, you know? I mean, just have you guys watched a good amount of his games with the Metropolitans?
I watched the Monaco series.
Yeah.
How'd that? I missed.
Sort of got busted up.
Oh, fuck! He lost to Monaco in the first round.
But that's the best team in Italy, so.
Oh, that's
Wherever
France.
they're playing,
Yeah.
The best team in France. So I mean,
It's Monaco, not his team.
No, but I don't feel like
He's a generational talent.
Yeah, I
Look,
know, but
Doesn't he have a
one
second
guy.
draft prospect on his team?
Yeah, and I love him too.
Well, how are they worse than Monaco?
I don't know, dude. I'm not a Monaco expert. I'm a high school hoops expert.
Just ask some questions.
Get Jonathan Giavone on the podcast.
No
yeah,
interest.
next episode.
No thanks.
Yeah, I love Victor. I'm about as high as anyone can possibly be on Victor. I think he'll be game altering. I was listening to a clip of him talking about his one-footed threes on JJ Redick's podcast.
I thought you were going to talk about it.
Did you listen to the whole episode?
No, I only saw the clip. I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Another about it.
But like the fact that he's just like messing around and like he's like, oh, you know, this one-footed three thing like feels comfortable. I'm just gonna like practice this, and it's like part of his game. Cause I don't know. I'm just like so excited for what this kid is gonna do with NBA level spacing. Cause things are still a little crowded in France with the 3-point line, and I think that like given how much space he's gonna have to operate, it's gonna be so much fun. I'm definitely buying tickets to see him when the Spurs come in town. Very excited.
Is he an all-star first year?
I think he could be.
No.
Yeah, I think he definitely could be.
No.
I don't think the Spurs will be good enough for him to be an all-star because it's just such a competitive. Like, there's so much talent right now.
So Sam, what's like a successful season for you, for him?
What would be a successful season for Victor?
Yeah. What does that look like for him?
I think it looks like him getting towards like 20 points a game towards the end of the first season.
Get more.
I think has to do with like this first year is just about him getting used to the NBA game, and then like I would like to see like some dominant performances like towards the end of the year. I guess.
Okay.
And like I think also health would determine a lot of the success as well. Like if he can dispel a lot of these, you know, things about how like dudes that are that long just aren't that, you know, built to last like that. If he can dispel some of that stuff, then I think it will be a very successful season.
I agree, Sam, and I think that's like the main concern with him is like his physique, and it's just simply getting stronger. I mean, it's going to be if he breaks down that first year. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. Can you imagine the turn that's going to happen for Victor? I mean, everyone's going to tout him as the most generational talent ever, and then what if he plays 20 to 40 games this year? That's going to be.
Can I give you a real player comp I saw?
Yes.
Someone called him a Gen Z Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That was a real. That's KOC, Kevin O'Connor. This is his words.
That's your guy, dude. That's your guy.
That's my guy.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I think he's kind of bound to get hurt. The way he's built, like Kevin Durant, he like there's gonna be issues like that, but I think a big piece of it is kind of like him being in the right place that will help get him healthy, you know. And I do think he's in the right place. That if he does get hurt, they're not just gonna toss him back out there just because they need to sell tickets. Like I think he is in a spot that is going to be more focused about his longevity in his career than just kind of pushing him out that first year, you know, which I do think is good for him. I feel like I'm more on like middle ground between Mayer and Ike here. Like I do think he's going to be like spectacular and special, but I don't think he's like LeBron James, you know. And like LeBron James didn't make the playoffs to like the third year of his third season in the NBA, you know.
Well, no one's like the GOAT, Mike. Come on, not even Victor.
Yeah.
I think he could be the GOAT. I think he could.
Oh fuck me.
See, that's crazy. Like that's
like
not insane
crazy
statements to be making about a guy who's been playing in France for 18 years.
Who just lost to Monaco.
Like that's nuts. Like I
Best
like
team
that's
in Italy.
where I find
LeBron lost a national championship, okay, while he was in high school. All right.
Sounds like a championship.
Happens.
First round, Monaco.
I mean, like if he gets like LeBron has what two rings. He gets 3. You can start talking about it, right?
All right, so he has 4. Now what do we talk about?
What do you mean?
He has 4 rings. You said when he gets 3, we can start talking about it.
Sam agreed earlier. Sam agreed the bubble one does not count when he said Kuzma was not a winner.
No, okay.
And the Ray Allen one does not count.
We're getting off topic.
Right, we're not getting into this again. All right.
No, Michael Morris is the guy that has LeBron tweet notifications
My full government?
Just so he can post and discredit every ring that he has.
We can't seriously be counting the bubble ring when the Bulls do not get a fair shot. We cannot seriously be having this conversation.
Let's just pretend like the other fakest dog in the world.
That's why you don't like the bubble, because the Bulls weren't included.
Bulls were still eligible, and we were taken out of the running for no reason. But regardless of that,
we're not going to talk about the bubble. We're going to talk about Scoot Henderson and Brandon Miller. Okay, and I'm going to toss it to you, Sam. Like, who do you like better, Scoot at 2 to Charlotte or Miller at 2 to Charlotte?
Well, I mean, I don't know, obviously, because I don't even think that Charlotte. It depends, man. If a team likes one of those guys enough to jump in front of Charlotte, I think that's really what it's going to come down to, because it's just really splitting hairs with both of them, and it just comes down to fit. I mean, you got a 3 in D wing with Miller, and I mean, the only thing that he doesn't really do well, I guess, is defend at a high level, but he's a good positional defender. He's long, he's like 6'8", and he can guard a bunch of different positions. And the defensive versatility that you're getting with him, you're maybe not getting with Scoot. And the main thing you worry about with Scoot, I mean, he's one of the best athletes in this draft, obviously. But, I mean, his shooting, I mean, what are we going to – I'm worried to draft a lead guard in the NBA at number 2, or at least with my number 2 pick, who can't shoot and hasn't, like, shown shooting, at least his time playing professionally in the G League Ignite. And not even to mention, he struggled with injuries a lot this year. And I think that probably hampered him down a little bit. But I'm going Brandon Miller. That's who I would take. Just with the things he can do on both ends, I that's who I would go with.
He is also like
agree
minus
100%.
500 to go to the Hornets. So it seemed like they kind of figured
He's
that
minus
out.
500 right now.
Brandon,
It's like
Brandon
450.
Not
But
his odds were last week, but
last
They
night
keep changing
they changed.
around.
Yeah.
I agree
didn't
with
know that.
Sam 100%. I think Brandon Miller is a more ready
Okay.
now player, and also with like the fit that you have in Charlotte. I honestly like the fit in both Portland and Charlotte. I think Brandon Miller might be a better fit than Scoot. Just like being how big and how well he can kind of score, just kind of with the off-ball scenarios. I think he's just
Yeah,
a
the
little
crime.
bit easier to put in. The NBA, what's the NBA without a little crime?
Well, especially
Right, come on
Charlotte, right? Yeah. Fit
Okay.
right in.
I disagree with you guys. I think that look, I had not watched a ton of Brandon Miller until the tournament, okay? And he was bad. He was bad in the tournament, okay? That's my
Biggest
that's my
stage.
essentially my like bigger sample size of Brandon Miller. He's bad. And then I'm hearing that like during one of his first workout in Charlotte, he's out of shape. He's going 50%. You know, like he hasn't been playing basketball much. And sure, you know, Scoot had like issues with like the amount that he played for the G League Ignite, but I don't know. The kid is in
Nothing
like
else bad
tip-top
is said
shape.
about
He's
him.
like elite fucking
His team won
athlete.
like 11 games this year, though.
It's not a good team.
Were they bad?
It's not a good
Were they,
team,
like,
but
really
I don't
bad?
know.
Like-
I'm just saying, like from what I see of Scoot, I feel like his floor is a poor man's Russell Westbrook, whereas I've seen a ton of 6'8" wings who sort of peter out because they can't hang athletically. You know, like sure, maybe he can shoot well enough, but like I don't know. Is his handle NBA ready? I think that
Scoot
like
says.
sure you can say his defensive potential is up there, but I think that Scoot is a harder worker and a better talent than Brandon Miller, and I would go with the better talent at number 2.
And
Okay,
let
so
me
I'm
just
having
say, I agree with that, Sam. And also, one thing I do like about Scoot is just his blind confidence that he keeps saying that he should go number 1 over Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
like,
He gives Anthony Edwards vibes.
Nobody is saying that. There's not one person saying that except him. And I actually love that because
Yeah.
he actually is that confident in himself. And to me, that proves you're a worker. Like, that just is like, I'm going to work to show you I should have been the number 1 pick. And I do totally respect that about Scoot.
Okay,
He's
but
got a
I have
dog
an
in him already.
issue. I have an issue with your guys' complaints against Brandon Miller and the way his team performed in the tournament when Scoot's team was the 11th best in the Western Conference of the fucking G League.
I didn't
Well,
even
he-
say
you know,
anything
I don't-
about his team, about Brandon Miller's.
You said
team.
You said their team disappointed in the tournament. They're the best.
No, I
team
said
About him
throughout the
specifically.
regular. Okay, but they were still he was still the best player in college basketball throughout the regular season, right? They were the best team. He was the best player on the best team throughout the regular season in college basketball, and it wasn't really all that close, you know. Scoot's team won 11 games, like they won 11 times.
Scoot could have been the best player in college basketball if he wanted. He wanted to get a more
He
professional
was-
environment before getting drafted. I don't know.
Ike, are you a Scoot guy?
I just feel like unfair.
Yes, I'm a Scoot guy. First
He's
point,
finished.
not an accessory to murder. Second point, already has a dog in him. Third point, everyone who's met him says he's a dedicated, super confident, and reasonable person. He's a monster
Reasonable?
athlete.
That's the word
Yeah.
they use. Reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a reasonable guy. He's not insane or, a criminal. Scoot is like, there are two, I'll give Wembanyama this. He is a generational talent. There are two of those in this draft. That's him and Scoot Henderson. Brandon Miller. I know, he's just mid for me. Mid.
For me-
I don't.
Just going off with Brandon Miller, I mean, it's not easy to lead the SEC in scoring. I mean, as a freshman, that's not easy to do. And I think that his ability to score from all three levels, I mean, that's going to translate to the NBA. Nowadays, these kids are playing. They're going to open runs with pros. So this guy, I mean, he comes into Alabama. He puts up basically 19 a game. I mean, that's not something just everybody can do. And I think you're right, Ike. Scoot, like when I look at him, I mean, if you're going to say generational talent and put Brandon Miller and Scoot Henderson next to each other, I think we're probably going to say, yeah, Scoot probably has the edge there. But I don't know, man. There's something about Brandon Miller. I don't know.
I want an
He's
NBA
the
draft
only one-
prospect to be able to improve. I want it to be shooting, not something off the court where they seem unmotivated or like have a weak mentality.
Jabari Parker.
All right, the one issue. Did you see the thing about today? He said his goat was
The one
Paul
issue?
George. That's
Dude,
a concern.
I was
That's
going to bring
a
that up.
little
The
bit
one
of a
issue?
concern.
It's like, what the
The one
fuck
issue
is
I
that?
have with him
My goat is Paul George.
Yeah, Paul George.
That's where his
insane.
roof is.
But my thing also is Nate Oates does not let anyone take mid-range shots. He says no mid-range shot, like he won't let, but he let Brandon Miller do it. Like, he's a scorer that was unseen before, kind of on that. You gotta let this go. Like you got everyone else is over it. He had a gun. He handed a gun over.
Everyone else except for that
I thought
family.
this was America. I don't know.
But yeah.
I thought this was.
Everyone's over it. Fuck it.
All right. So let's talk.
Who gives a shit?
When Ant assaults women in Denver, that it's fine, like nothing happened, right?
Wow.
But Brandon Miller
We're
hands one gun
really
over.
good.
And it's all very,
You're comparing tossing a chair
he
versus the murder
assaulted
of some woman?
somebody.
He did not assault
Let's
anyone.
take this down.
Did he
Michael
pull
Morris.
Did he pull the trigger? Did he pull the trigger? Did he
Write it
shoot
down.
somebody?
Write it down.
Brandon Miller, apologist.
Yeah.
Mike.
A murder, Mike. A murder is what you're doing right now.
I
Yeah,
will
fuck her.
100% go.
Right? Fuck her
Okay.
family.
Let's
Right? Fuck her.
let's
Who gives
talk
a shit,
Thompson
right, Mike?
twins.
Bradley Beal. Who gives a shit.
Houston is at 4. Detroit's at 5. Orlando's at 6.
Innocent woman.
Okay. Amen is sort of being touted as the guy at number 4. Just
He's
kind of
the
crazy
point guard
athlete.
one, right?
What?
Is he the point guard?
I
Yes.
think so. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
he's like a good passer, crazy athlete. His
Good
jumper-
rebounder for his position.
Mhm.
He's minus 390 right now.
For pick 4.
They seemed to. Brandon Miller's up to 650
Minus
per
650
second.
for 2.
Yeah, they seem to think they know.
A lot.
Yeah.
So Portland's just gonna take Scoot and toss him next to Dame.
Well, I think you probably win that bet even if they trade him or
Well,
Dame.
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do any of you guys see any of those teams trading out of that pick potentially?
I could see.
The top three.
I could definitely see the Trailblazers trades down.
I mean, they've publicly, well, not publicly, but like through the
Pretty much.
channels.
They've
that
kind
they
of gone
do.
both ends, haven't they?
You hit that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, I think they said that they're not. I think I read today that they're not fielding calls for Dame.
Yeah, they said they stopped it, but that could mean anything.
Yeah.
Like they could just be either know that they're gonna do something or like just be waiting until the draft happens.
Yeah,
I don't
I've
know.
heard a little Zion talk around the.
Damian Lillard liked that tweet that said bring Zion to Portland.
Yeah, I just I think that's just a bad idea for New Orleans. I don't think you let go of
It's
a
done in New
kid
Orleans.
like Zion.
It's done. He's
I
not
don't
going to
know.
play for you. It's done. Like, he'll just keep sitting out. Like he's not going to play.
I don't know.
But that's a
I'm not
different
going to give
story.
up on
But
Zion. But sure.
I'm not either. But he's not going to be in New Orleans. But I think Portland could very easily trade out of that spot to a lot of teams. I think a lot of teams would like to trade up for either Scoot or Miller. You know, like what would be the price? Like what's like what? Like how much are you willing to like give up for the third option there? You know.
And I think one thing to look at with these first at least 10 to 12 picks is a lot of the guys that are going in this draft, especially the top 10, are basically non-shooters. Like there's not really a bunch of big-time shot makers in the top 10. I mean, the top 2 shot makers I'd say in this draft are probably Jordan Hawkins and Grady Dick. So I think you could see those guys. I love Jordan Hawkins too. We were probably going to move on to sleepers in this draft, and he's definitely number 1 on my list. He's explosive. He's a good shooter. He's good with the ball in his hands, but he is a scorer, and he's just a dog. I really love Jordan Hawkins, but I think you could see Grady Dick or Jordan Hawkins go a little higher in this draft just because of the lack of shooting up at the top.
You like Dick?
I do.
He loves little Dick.
I do. I like him. I don't love him. I got to see him a lot his senior year in high school.
He played in high school.
I had a lot higher expectations for him at Kansas though than what I was kind of seeing in like the Big, especially towards the back half during the Big 12. Like the Big 12 was a tough conference, and that was like kind of a rat race to see who was going to win it. And then like even in the conference tournament, it got really murky. But like I thought I was going to see more from him for Kansas, but it seems like he just kind of kept getting shut down a little bit by like dominant Big 12 teams, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's something to like, you know, take note of last year. The Big 12, that was the toughest conference in college basketball.
Easily.
I mean, every team could have made the tournament.
Yeah,
honestly,
by far, I'm not even close.
I mean, even Oklahoma, they were sort of the rat in that conference last year. They beat Alabama by 25.
They were way better in the SEC.
Yeah, exactly. Well, definitely, exactly. That's no doubt. I mean, Big East, we can talk, but I mean, you know, Big 12 is really where it's at. And, sort of what you're going off of, Mike, I think Grady Dick's, he's in the NBA, he's going to be more of like a set shooter. I don't really see him doing much with the ball once he gets to the league, and I think that's sort of how they played him at Kansas. In high school, he had the ball in his hands a little more. He could slash a little bit better than obviously you can in college, and then you will be able to in the NBA, but I don't know. For what he's going to get picked for, I mean, he's going to be a big-time shooter. He shot nearly 40% last year in the Big 12. So, or I think he did shoot over 40%. So I think he's going to be good at his role, and you may see him go higher than expected, just as I said, with the lack of shooting in the draft.
It is hard with 40.3%.
What he shoot?
That's a
40.3 from 3.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah, I thought he shoot over or shot over.
But it is hard with those like 1 year guys who come in and like have to switch their roles, like seeing what they were doing in high school versus what they did in that 1 year of college. He was looking like a crazy athlete, you know. He was jumping out of the gym against these guys, against the guys in high school. And then he had really changed what he was doing in college a little bit. He's just kind of pulling. Yeah, so it is a lot harder. So seeing that transition is tough, which kind of makes me wonder more about like those OTE guys. It's like, what kind of basketball are they really ready to play? You know,
what I've seen, children,
bro.
Yeah, what I'm seeing from the OTE, it's like AAU basketball. It's just like AAU. It's like
Mike. I totally agree. That's why it's sort of hard for me to take. You know, I take the Thompson twins seriously, but it's like you got to just understand they're playing against high schoolers. The leading scorer of the league last year just committed to Kentucky and was a 3-star.
That's crazy. I mean, that's insane.
That's bizarre.
It really is. And
sounds underrated.
And now we're going to put these two kids there, and they may go top 5, top 7. I mean, whatever they go in the draft, they're going to probably be top 10. And I just with the league they're playing in, I mean, it's basically going straight from high school to the NBA. That's just my opinion.
Sam, who would you take if you were Houston at 4?
Well, I mean, the other guy I like at the top of the draft a lot is Jarris Walker, and he actually went to Houston in college. He's another guy I got to see a lot of in high school. And I think the main thing when he was coming out of high school, the main thing like I was worried about, especially with where he was going, was he going to be able to defend and be willing to defend at a high level, like just to stay on the floor at Houston? Because Houston had a great team last year, and obviously I think they were a 1 seed in the tournament. And Jarris Walker, he's probably the best built forward in the draft. He is
beast.
literally built like a grown ass man. He could probably play left tackle for the Bears right now. They're so terrible up front. But this guy's an absolute
That O-line is garbage. That O-line is garbage.
We just drafted the best. All right, I'm not doing this.
But just
we better draft the best tackle, in the draft out of Tennessee.
He's not as good as
tell me to
this
shut
guy.
the fuck up when they bring it up. How are you gonna get mad at me when they bring it up?
Move on, Mike.
But yeah, anyway, just to close
Garbage
that out, I
O-line.
mean, he's great and he's powerful getting to the basket. He's not really, as I said, the top 10. There's not a lot of big time shooting. Even Jarris Walker would fit in that category, but he really showed his ability to defend at a high level last year in Houston when a lot of people thought he wouldn't be able to. So I don't know if that's where I'd go, but I would pick him over the Thompson twins 100%.
Sam, what are your concerns with him, though? You know, like, is it injuries, or what's like the worry about Walker?
With Jarris?
It does seem like he had, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about him. I think he's going to be effective basically right away. As I said, last year I was really worried about him going to Houston. Because in high school, I mean, he played at IMG. You wouldn't see him really step up and defend at a high level. He was a big-time offensive player in high school. So his ability to block shots, his ability to actually guard posts and come out to the perimeter and stay with, like, guards is super impressive. The thing that's not is his jump shot. It takes a while for him to get it off. He's really just a standstill jump shooter, and if he's breaking you down off the dribble, he's not much of a threat to put one up. So, I mean, he's more of a slasher at this point from the mid-range. He probably can't really extend to the three-point line. So he's another guy. You're going to want to see him get a lot better shooting the ball before he's going to be a big-time NBA player. And that's with a lot of guys with the top 10.
From what I kind of saw from him at Houston, like, he could kind of fill like a very similar Aaron Gordon type role in which he can kind of guard across the court, you know, and like, his athletic ability can kind of carry him into good spots as long as he's in like the right setting, you know. But
totally, I think that's a really good comp too. I think that's a very, very good comp. Where'd you read that one, bud?
That's me. That's me, dude.
I see a little Terrence Jones in Jarris Walker. Undersized. Can't really hang physically.
That's the one thing he's gonna.
I guess.
He's gonna be able to do is hang physically.
Hang physically, fine.
One thing
he's an animal. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, maybe is too much of a dud on offense. He was in my bust category. I don't know. I'm not very high on.
Didn't you have Houston winning it all? Didn't you take Houston winning it all?
I
was
don't
it Jarris
remember.
Walker?
I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, Jarris Walker. I've heard a little bit of Cam Whitmore talk in the top 5.
He seems to be like everywhere range. From like 4 to 10 even.
Yeah.
We have a couple Arkansas guards who are high on the list.
Yeah, Anthony Black's another kid.
Yeah.
Who's been tossed around. Yeah. What do you guys think about those dudes?
I thought Anthony Black was better, right? Like, I thought Anthony Black was like the better option, right? But I don't know, Sam. What do you think?
So we're just thinking of the Arkansas guards, or do you
between the two Arkansas? Yeah, between the Arkansas guards, Team Black and Whitmore.
Well, I think coming out, Nick Smith Jr., he's sort of the one that he was injured all year, so he really didn't get on the floor enough to really even show what he could do. But he was the number one player coming out of high school, debatably, in some services. He was, I mean, there were high expectations for him going into Fayetteville last year, and obviously the injuries hampered him big time. And same with Dariq Whitehead from Duke. I mean, those two guys were probably 2 of the top 3 players in that 2022 class. And it's too bad because they really didn't live up to expectations at their schools. They were injured all year. And I think I would happily draft either of them in the 20s. I don't know if I'm reaching for them up at 10 or anywhere near 10, but it's possible a team does, especially with Nick Smith Jr. That guy's a special talent. But the thing you like about Anthony Black, he's really a versatile guard, and he's a big-time defender. Again, the thing that he doesn't do well is shoot. And, I mean, last year at Arkansas, I wasn't super high on him. I didn't think he was going to be super effective his freshman year. But, man, he definitely proved me wrong. I think he had nearly 2 steals a game. Defensively, he's a big-time rebounder. He's an assist guy. And he scored, I think, nearly 13 points per game just last year. And I think, coming into the NBA, he's a 6'6" guard. I mean, that's exactly what you want at that position at the 1 or 2. A guy that at his size that can do a lot with the ball and can, defend at the other end too. So I'm super high on Anthony Black. Same with Nick Smith Jr. as long as he can stay healthy.
KOC has Anthony Black at 6 to the Magic, and then Nick Smith Jr. is down to 17 to the Lakers.
The Magic really need another guard.
There's some talk of the Magic moving 6 and 11 for something or another.
So I have another question for Sam that just popped up, if you guys don't mind. Do you feel like teams might reach for like maybe less talented like front court players with how many like how guard dominant and how like backcourt dominant this draft is? Like outside of like Walker and like Wembanyama, of course, like it seems like it is kind of all backcourt guys. Do you feel like we might see some front court guys being taken higher than they maybe should have?
Yeah, no, totally. That's definitely possible. And I mean, the draft really comes down to need at the end of the day, So, I mean, what these teams need, and it's the same with that 2 and 3. I think whatever team or whatever prospect fits that team's needs at that spot is who they're going to take. I don't think, unless he's just so far better than the other guy you're considering. I mean, and I don't see that with Brandon Miller and Scoot Henderson, just sort of going back to that. So it's really, I think, just going to come down to fit. Who are you thinking that could go higher? That was a big Mike.
Well, kind of thinking of like what you were just talking about with Whitmore, but also maybe like Derek Lively, like
totally.
Like, I feel like he could easily kind of sneak up higher, like than maybe where he maybe should be.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
sorry, there's that video of him like nailing threes.
And he did. And he did some of that in high school. He really did. Like
really?
that was part. Yeah, he did. And his team wasn't great his senior year, but so he got to do basically like whatever he wanted. But he would shoot those, and he would he'd bring the ball up off the break too. And he just obviously, when you get to Duke, you're not going to be doing that.
Yeah.
But and I think that's sort of why he struggled a little bit at the beginning of the year, because he just didn't really know what his role was and how to fit in that spot. And he was sort of similar to Derek. He struggled with injuries. But I think he's going to, like, if you're looking for a shot blocking, rim running, lob catching big, then you found your guy. I mean,
Sam,
he is every one of those things.
Can I give you a player comp? Anthony Randolph.
A Timberwolves great.
Timberwolves legend Anthony Randolph has.
I don't know why everyone's laughing in his face right now.
Who did we trade for him?
Too much. Yeah, someone.
Yeah, someone.
Not worth it. He was fun.
Yeah, he definitely was.
He loved to bring the ball up long. He could block a shot.
Fun is a.
You got him from the Knicks, right?
The Knicks. Yep. I don't know who we traded for him. I can't remember.
All right, enough pain. Let's do some sleepers. Mike, should we start with you? Who's your sleeper?
Well, we talked about him a little bit earlier, but Jordan Hawkins out of UConn, he was by easily the most talented player in the last few months of college basketball. Starting with their conference tournament, like he dominated the Big East, and then he went on to dominate everyone else that he played. Obviously UConn was a well-oiled machine, but he was easily the best player on the court whenever they would play, and it really wasn't close. Like for anyone who watched those games, like the way he shot the ball, the way he just kind of operated on the court. The one thing is he is older, like, and that's kind of crazy to say. Like he's like 21, 22 years old, and that's like kind of considered old for entering the draft. But I think he is going to be an instant difference maker for whoever is lucky enough to draft him. Because I loved watching him play at UConn in those last few weeks.
KOC has Hawkins at 21 to the Nets. Interesting.
21?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's lower than I was thinking.
I'm telling you, I really think he could jump up way higher than that.
Yeah.
Way higher.
I mean, considering he's like gonna be playing like the 2-3 role, like just like any wing, like, I feel like he's got to be one of the better wings in the draft, even considering how kind of wing hit dominant it is. I think like there aren't hard to say there's 5 better than him. You know, like
Totally. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, he's a big time shot maker too. Like the
Yeah.
championship game.
Big time.
It's nailing. Ike, who's your sleeper?
Our real French king,
All right.
Ryan Rupert.
Ryan
Rupert. Sam, you familiar?
Yep.
Yeah.
NBL?
Yep. New Zealand Breakers. 6'7", 7'3" wingspan, improving 3-point shooting. So raw. 18 years old. Father was the captain of the French national team. Got injured this year, so he slid a little bit, but that's only because of his injury. And anyone.
But who's his dad?
His last name is Repair. I forget his first name.
All right.
Captain of the French national
All right.
team. Sister also plays for the French national team. I've got him as the number 4 small forward on my board.
Behind or ahead of Hawkins?
Above.
Wow.
Rupert.
Ryan
He's
Repair,
been-
7'3" wingspan.
Ike's been watching so much NBL this year; it's insane. He's
I
been
was
three
Ryan.
days
Well,
late.
it was tough because Ryan Repair was injured.
How tall is he?
6'7",
6'6".
7'3".
He's super long.
The 7'3" wingspan? That's
Yes.
insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yes,
Yeah. He's
Yes.
got the Reggie Jackson build.
he's an incredible defender. Incredible. Locked down Australia. Better than COVID.
How'd the Breakers do?
He was injured. I don't think it was their best
How'd the
year.
Breakers do? Oh, okay. So whenever a different prospect has their team does poorly.
Yeah, if you
fine.
think it's because of
Well,
that,
you
and not because I don't
no,
know
it's
how the
fine.
New Zealand
It's okay.
Breakers did, it's fine. I don't know how the New Zealand Breakers did.
Okay, KOC has Repair at 41 to the Hornets.
Such
Yeah,
an idiot
KOC.
sometimes.
Why are we
Sneaky pick, though. Sneaky pick, Ike.
Sam,
He's
Sam-
such an idiot
41?
sometimes. That's
Is he
the same.
41?
That's the
41
same guy who said
the
Kareem
Hornets.
Abdul-Jabbar is going first this pick. I don't know. First this round.
Okay, whatever. Toss it to Sam.
What a sleeper.
6'7", 7'3".
Sleeper.
Yeah, well, my number one guy was definitely Jordan Hawkins as well. So good, Mike. You have a great basketball mind, obviously. Didn't put
First time.
Repair as your sleeper. But there's
I
actually
can't wait. I can't wait.
I think there's a
Give him
lot of
2
guys,
years.
honestly, late in this first that could really show out for you. And I mean, Jalen Hood-Schifino and Cason Wallace, those are 2 really steady guards. Wallace went to Kentucky last year. Who was the other guy? Just Hood-Schifino went to Indiana. And both guys were big-time players, started for their team. And honestly, both guys were really just steady. They just kept those teams in order because a lot of times both of those teams would just get out of sorts, and they were sort of their saving grace with the ball in their hands. But another guy is on Victor Wembanyama's team, and he played against Bronny when we went out there. Yeah, Bilal.
Koulibaly?
I like him. He's not a shooter,
Yeah.
and he's a total. I mean, honestly, I don't know how he'll be his first year or two, but I mean, he is a freak.
He's raw.
He's super raw, but is just a freak, man. Like the guy flies. And he was playing against LeBron or Bronny's team, which wasn't great, but I mean, he was really impressive when I got to see him. So I'd say those 3 guys I like a lot up top, along with Jordan Hawkins. He was my number 1, and it really wasn't close of sleepers.
Koulibaly, also a 6'7", 7'2" wingspan guy.
Ooh, 7'2".
He's-
Huh?
Yeah.
He's a He was playing on their U18 team until like someone got hurt and he'd like scrimmage in with their ones, and he just got a starting spot. It was crazy.
Yeah, and just to say this, when we were going out to France, there was some talk that Victor was going to play in that game against Ronnie, and there was a major effort to get him to play in that game.
Yeah,
and Koulibaly ended up playing in the game, and little known, I mean, who would have thought he's going to end up maybe a lottery pick tomorrow? So who knows?
Koulibaly, the Ringer has Koulibaly at 12. Hood Schifino at 15 to the Hawks. 12 is to OKC. And Cason Wallace at 16 to Utah. Okay. My first guy is my guy Jaime Jaquez Jr.
Oh, good lord.
I love this guy's game. I think he's a smart player. He's old. He's 22.3.
I was going to ask, how old is he?
He's
22.
He's a little over 22.
He's old.
Okay. But I think he's a smart player. I think he's versatile. I think he's like a perfect glue guy.
He's gritty.
Yeah, I think he's gritty. I think he's just like a dude that could come in and help right away, and could be the sort of like, I don't know, just another versatile wing. And I think he could start in that position down the line. The Ringer has him at 18 to the Heat, which I love. Perfect Heat culture guy. My other guy that I like, that I was impressed with in the tournament, was Hawkins' teammate Andre Jackson Jr., who's another.
I'm with you, Sam. I'm with you there.
Yeah, I was like, wow,
total connector.
This guy totally, yeah, similar thing with Jaquez, but like less ball dominant, better frame, I think. And again, you know, he's 21 and a half, but like long arms, great defender, just, you know, does a little of everything.
Athlete, Sam.
Yeah,
freak athlete.
Yeah,
Sam.
Good athlete. Like really looks. The eye test is very like, that guy looks like an NBA player to me. So those are my two guys, and then I threw Chris Murray, just because.
Oh, that's what I was about to talk about. That's who I was about to bring up, actually.
Yeah, talk Chris Murray.
I think he might be better than Keegan. I think he might end up being better than Keegan. I think Keegan blew up after, like, he played 2 years, I think, at Iowa, right? Like, his first year, he wasn't, unless he played 3, unless, like, he didn't really play his first year. His first year, he really didn't do much. Second year, he kind of exploded, averaged, like, over 20-plus points a game. Same thing, very similar thing with Chris. He didn't play very well his first year, and then he blew up this last season. I don't see him getting the same type of love that Keegan got when they're very, very similar players, and they fit similar kind of roles, you know. I think that Chris Murray is going to be, if he's sitting around 25, 26, like, I don't see how you don't snatch him.
I think most drafts have him going better than that, but
really,
I'm with you, Mike. I'm with you on that one too. Both you and Sam. Both. I mean, Chris. I mean, he was on a much worse team than Keegan was.
Oh, they were terrible.
Oh, it was. I mean, they weren't terrible, but he had to carry much more of a load with much little help, or with much less help last year. And I mean, he was, you know, he played the part. He played the role very well, even when it was a lot tougher than it was with Keegan. So I'm with you on that one too.
Can I toss a couple more names out?
Throw them out.
Love names.
Gigi Jackson.
That's a name.
And Amani Bates.
Amani Bates.
Oh, did he declare?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good for Amani.
Ike, are you trying to get me to chirp some of these guys right now?
What? I feel like these are high school talent that you love, Sam.
No.
He's a guy from, like, Clemson, right? Or
he went to South Carolina.
South Carolina. He reclassified.
Yeah, he did, and so he's super young, but he's talented. I mean, he just had a tough year this year.
He was like the number one prospect for the year after he ended up going, right?
Yeah, this class that is graduating now, which was he was supposed to be in, he reclassed. He was originally committed to North Carolina, and late in the summer, he was like, "Yep, I'm going to South Carolina now," and he just completely switched it up. Probably got a bag, not a big deal, but he did not do very well his freshman year. But that team was really really bad. That team was.
I
really
feel
bad.
Amani Bates. I've also always had kind of a soft spot for. I think he got a real bad rap down in Memphis with his like injury and just kind of like
a lot of gun storylines in this draft.
So you don't like Miller, but you love
I'm saying I just said I'm throwing these names out. These are high talent, high risk players.
What do you guys think of Amari Bailey? That's another guy I like.
I've got a lot of thoughts, but you guys go first.
I like. All right, I won't talk about his mother. I think he was a great player in high school. I didn't watch a ton of UCLA, but like I'll take that, because sometimes these high school guys will get thrown into a system and they don't really work out within like the college system, and like I don't know, we've seen that before with UCLA. Like Zach LaVine was coming off the bench and like look where he is now. I don't know.
I guess that might be fair. I guess like I have a hard time seeing like that was always my issue. That I was always big Jahlil Okafor guy over Cat.
Yeah, good take.
The jury's still out. Jury's still out on that one.
Well, I don't think Jahlil Okafor really plays in the NBA anymore. So is that true? He plays for Mexico City's G League team.
Can I talk? This is why I can't speak. Every time I fucking say something, he needs to say something over me.
Every time you say something about Jahlil Okafor being better than Cat, I will. Yes. Yeah. No. Every time I will correct that.
Oh wait. You done?
Yes.
All right. So I do have a hard time like seeing players get drafted over guys who just like aren't starting. And I know it just might not be the fit, might not be the system, but then I'm like, why didn't you just go somewhere where you played? Is always my kind of question around it. It's like he was like the fourth best player on the UCLA team, which I never thought I didn't think that was all that awesome even in the regular season. I know they got a lot of hype, like people love their odds like going to the tournament, but I didn't like they just weren't. I don't know. They made an immaculate run the year before, and I didn't think they were. What is it, Mark Cronin or whatever their coach's name is?
Mick Cronin, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, honestly. At least for me, not to interrupt, Mike, but I thought UCLA I thought they were fucking great last year. I mean, they're more of a defensive team, especially with Mick Cronin, and they had the dudes to do it. And, Amari Bailey, he's not going to stand out to you as a big-time defender, but when he's got the ball in his hands, he's a big-time, he's athlete, lefty. He's not the best shooter, but, I mean, he does a lot of things really well, especially on the offensive side of the ball. He's really effective. And the thing is, how well is he going to defend at the NBA level? He's a little bit frail and like he's not really as built. There's a lot of these other two guards in the league. So is he going to be able to hang like that? I mean, I think that's the main question with him is how does he hang on the defensive end? Because offensively, he is a stud. He's a big-time talent.
Yeah. One question I do have for you guys. Serge Jabari Rice. Does he get – I was a big Texas rider. I put a big future in on for them to win the Big 12 and also for them to win the NCAA tournament at the start, like at the end of the regular season. Didn't quite hit the second one, but I thought Serge Jabari Rice was one of the better guards we were kind of seeing in that back half of the season. And I don't see a lot of people saying he's going to get necessarily taken or maybe taken like at the last couple picks, and I don't know. I just feel like he could kind of come in. He's a shot creator. He can score with the ball, without the ball. I feel like he can kind of do it all. Defensively, he might not be the most thorough, but I feel like he can do a lot with his game, and I don't think that people are giving him a fair share.
He may have the best shot fake I've ever seen in my entire life.
Incredible.
And no one's really talking about
Marcus
him. Yeah, he's just got he's got some issues with that shot fake. He's got a freak shot fake.
Damn near illegal.
All right.
But yeah, no, I agree. I like Serge Jabari Rice a lot too. I definitely do. No way he gets picked, but I like him.
Let's take a quick break. I'm gonna. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about busts. Who we think are a little shakier. I think my two guys were Jarris Walker and Brandon Miller, and we did a ton on both of them. So I'm gonna go in reverse order here. Sam, you want to start with your bust of the draft?
Yeah, totally. And I for some reason, I don't know why this guy's risen up the draft boards all of a sudden. I would love to. I probably should have looked up what he was averaging before or this year at Michigan. But Kobe Buffkin, like, I mean,
That
he
was
was
mine.
not. He was not one of their big time players. I mean, there were 10 guys. That's sort of what you were saying. I think, like, there's 10 guys better than him on the team, and then he comes out. He goes through the draft process, and then he's getting great feedback. Okay, he averaged 14 points per game. That's fucking good. But I just wasn't a big Buffkin guy, honestly. I mean, I just really wasn't. I don't know. There's just he honestly, his stats are great. There's no.
You want to know?
Why do you say that, Ike?
Well,
That's just
so
eye
this
test
is
for me.
separate of his ability. You want to know the strangest thing about this kid?
Yeah.
So Kobe Buffkin, born in the fall of 2003. You know what happened in the summer of 2003 to a certain man named Kobe? His parents chose to name him Kobe Buffkin that fall.
Oh no!
After that summer that Kobe Bryant had.
Oh my god! This is some
fantastic
research.
All tiders though. You can't.
Yeah, Ike, that's an impressive deep dive.
Ike's connecting the dots on a big board.
If you're looking for faults, look at the parents. Also, a darker fact: he's the same age right now as the victim was that year. If we're talking Kobe Bryant,
Yikes!
we don't hide stuff on this show.
Buffkin is. The Ringer has Buffkin at 8 to the Wizards, which is sort of fitting, considering the bust
they might do it.
Potential there.
They
do have a history. Okay. Let's see. Who do we go? Ike?
Mine was Kobe Buffkin.
Okay.
Me?
Mike?
All right. I'm gonna go with this. Might be unpopular amongst a lot of pundits, but Taylor Hendricks. Look, I didn't watch a lot of UCF games. I'm not gonna sit here saying I watch a lot of UCF games, but I can read a stat line, and it seems like whenever he played against like solid comp, he vanished. You know, and he is one. I'll give him this. He won't turn away from shooting threes when he's not hidden, and he's very comfortable going like 1 for 8, 1 for 9 from deep. You know, he's a power forward who, like, he averaged 15, 7, and 1 this past year on 46% shooting. Like, that's not terrible, but I feel like those numbers probably should be higher for somebody who's considered going top 10 in the draft. And also, when he's playing against good players, like, he could barely break 6, 7 points. You know, like, I feel like that's a big piece of it. And I think seeing him in the top 10 of people's draft boards is a little bit surprising to me when we've seen other players on bigger moments against bigger teams, especially even in those, maybe not necessarily in those positions, but like do better. But I think that might speak for my kind of question about teams reaching for the better fit for their team rather than the better player. You know, like there maybe aren't that many great power forwards out here, and maybe that's what they need to go get. But that's mine. I don't know. I don't see it.
Yeah, no, it is interesting with him too. I mean, he came into the season, he was like a top 75 recruit. I mean, he was a good recruit for UCF, but like, you know, a lot of times when you get a top 75 guy, that's not a guy you're expecting to leave after 1 year. So I think he just played. Right. Yeah, exactly. And I think there is a lot to be said for what you touched on. I'm sort of in that same boat with you. He follows me on Twitter though, so I think it's gonna be great.
Sam, when you go,
Yeah,
come
Sam.
back to me. I have another one.
Okay. No. Well, my two were Jarris Walker and Brandon Miller.
He kind of
so,
talked on his.
Yeah. So we talked.
Brandon
on
Miller.
those. Yeah, man. Brandon Miller.
Bust?
Maxwell Lewis.
Next,
He
Jabari Parker.
shoots you in the fucking
I agree.
dome. Hey, watch your mouth about Jabari, all right?
What do we think about Keontae George, guys? I think he might be
Keontae
up
George.
there. I don't know.
You don't like him? Okay,
I
I
don't
thought
love
you were
him.
saying he was good. Yeah, no.
I
Out.
don't love him.
I mean, like, Baylor was, I guess the whole team was a little bit down.
What do you think about Maxwell Lewis, Sam?
Same with you. I'm pretty down on him.
Yeah,
too.
I mean,
Same
for
with-
real, we're going to draft someone out of Pepperdine?
Yeah, but and even
Kidding me?
Pepperdine?
For real?
there's two WCC players that could go.
Santa Clara guy, right? The
Yeah,
Polish dude from
Podzinski.
Santa Clara.
No,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
a
and
joke.
he had a-
some shit, bro.
Yeah, he had a big time year, like big time. He started his career at Illinois. He transferred after in last spring, and he killed it this year. I mean, he really killed it. So maybe you just go to the WCC 1 year. You put up a couple big time games. You average 15 to 20. I don't even think Maxwell Lewis averaged 15 to 20. But
Mark Few has
not.
broken college basketball brains, dude. People keep starting to think these teams are good enough to rank them in the top 25 that aren't Gonzaga, and it's crazy.
Oh, I got one.
Yeah.
Adama Sanogo.
Snogo?
he's gonna go like 55. He's not a bust.
6'7".
Dude, he's a dog. Snogo was fasting and just eating people up, dude.
The Ringer has him at 44, going to the Spurs.
Sam doesn't have him make
My
a
man
movie.
wasn't drinking water or eating any food,
That man-
and he was eating people
He's
up.
small. He's small.
That motherfucker.
Dog.
He's tiny and yeah. That's my
You know
take.
who else is
I'm not-
tiny coming out? You know who else is undersized?
Who's that?
Charles Barkley.
There.
Ringless.
All right,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
I got
So
another
games.
sleeper. I got another sleeper for you guys. Marcus Sasser.
Leaky Black.
No.
Yes.
Not Leaky Black.
Marcus Sasser. That was one of the questions I had ready for you. Is why are we?
Yeah.
Am I the only guy who loves Marcus Sasser?
No, I love Marcus Sasser. He's going to be a great, I think he's going to go somewhere in the 30s, and some team is going to be so happy that
tough.
he got him. He's a tough motherfucker. He's a dog. He's a good shooter. He's a good floor general, and he's a tough defender. That's exactly what you want to pick in the 30s.
I have issues with a lot. Like my issues with the Houston team in general. Like they beat up on really bad teams, whatever, and they'll kick the shit out of like people who are way below them. But then a lot of times when they got put against comparable competition, it a lot of those skills kind of went away.
They make the
you
Final
know?
Four 2 years ago.
No, they did not.
Recently, sometime they won a few
They did
tournament
not make.
games.
They lost Elite Eight. They lost.
Okay,
They were the
Elite
number
Eight.
one. Like they've had very disappointing tournaments these past.
Well, it's tough to make.
Past
the
years
Final
they've been
Four.
good.
Only 4 teams do it.
I'm not saying it is, but when you're ranked so highly and people think that you're so great, and then when you're beating up on bad teams,
Houston's
it's
a
the
good,
same
tough
thing.
team.
It's very similar to the Gonzaga paradox. It's like how
No.
do you rank these teams when you're not playing against people?
No, I agree, honestly, but they got some decent teams. I mean, Memphis
Memphis,
gets top
yeah,
ten
Memphis is
every
Memphis.
year.
Memphis,
And
sure.
but that's also their biggest game of the year. So, I mean,
Memphis
that's sort of
beat
like
them though.
Yeah, no, totally. They beat them in the conference championship
Yeah.
when Sasser was out,
Didn't
and that
matter.
was that's a huge piece
Yeah.
of their team. So, I mean, I think Houston, they still bring in top 10. I mean, they brought in Jarris Walker last year. He's a top 10 guy, so they still bring in talent, and that's why they beat up on these teams so bad. But
That's
you're
right.
right, Mike. I
What's
actually
their-
do sort of agree. But they're going to the Big 12 next year, so this is going to be a lot more fun for them.
That is true. What's their
Cincinnati-
coach's name? Because he seems like the most terrifying
boss.
person to have to work
Yeah.
under.
Yeah,
Like-
Kelvin Sampson. He's an
Dude,
absolute.
he's terrifying.
I'd be terrified of him too. But he's a great coach. Great coach.
Yeah, he gets a lot out of his guys.
All right,
In
Ike.
the whole program. Man.
What do you got
All right.
for some questions for Sam before we get out of here?
All right, I'll try and cut down to just a few of them. I was planning on having 45 minutes for this, but How is the high school talent nowadays?
The high school talent's good. No. I mean, I think that's a fair.
High school.
Yeah, it's good.
No, the high school talent's good. I mean, I think this 2023 class is a little bit weaker than a lot of classes before it.
Mhm.
But Kentucky's bringing in an unbelievable class this year. They got a lot of. I think they have 4 top 10 guys. So they're
Hot
bringing
seat
in a great team.
Calipari.
Yeah, but I mean, their team is going to be crazy next year because they have legitimately 8 or 9 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and they're going to bring back 1 grad student, and it's going to be just a shit show. It's going to be crazy. I mean, if those freshmen are really going to have to prove their rankings for them to be anywhere near the top of the SEC, it's going to be. It's going to.
The 2 dudes from the same high school just signed for them, right?
Not Aaron Bradshaw, and DJ Wagner.
Yeah, not just, but they did sign for them, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and Bradshaw has a foot injury now, so he's gonna be out for 4 to 6 weeks. So they said Clutch Sports said 4 to 6 months.
Can't trust them.
Then, yeah, exactly. So he posted on his Instagram or whatever 4 to 6 weeks. So who really knows? But yeah, there's the high school talent's good, but the 2023 class is a little weaker than normal.
Fuck.
All right. Would the Wait, I have a question. Would the better Boozer twin be the number 1 recruit in this high school class?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Are they really as NBA ready as people are saying after the dominant performance in the what was it, the FIBA, the U8 FIBA?
That 2025 class is gonna be insane.
Yeah.
Cameron Boozer is unbelievable. He plays nothing like his dad. He can bring the ball up. He can hit threes. He can attack the bat. He's unbelievable. He's one of the most versatile.
His dad could hit threes.
Not really.
No, he couldn't.
Carlos
He's hit threes before.
No,
Carlos Boozer
was
a short
could hit
corner.
threes.
He has hit
No.
threes.
He did not hit threes.
We did not shoot
has hit
threes.
threes.
We didn't even try.
He
Okay,
has
that's
hit
true. That's a fact. All right, Sam,
but-
moving on. I'm going to give you a couple players, just rapid takes on them, all right?
Got it.
Mojave King.
Don't know enough about him.
Good. Ricky Council the fourth.
Strong, tough slasher, and can guard multiple positions.
Terquavion Smith.
Straight bucket.
Vicky Black.
Long, athletic, not effective on the offensive end.
Alex Fudge.
Shouldn't be drafted, but is long and athletic and follows me on Twitter.
Got it. Is it harsh to compare Olivier Maxence Prosper or any other 20-year-old to PJ Tucker?
My guy just absolutely nuked his driving set. I like
Nice.
him actually a lot. I think he's a sleeper, to be honest with you. He's
But
really
doesn't it
showed up.
seem mean?
Why would it
Yeah, I
be
don't
mean?
think-
PJ Tucker's a champion.
But yeah, I don't really think that's a fair comparison. I mean, PJ
Yeah.
Tucker's the biggest dog in the NBA, so I
Yeah,
really
he's
think so.
also can't move and he's bald.
That's not true. He can
He's
absolutely
played a
move.
long time, Mike.
He
So
can absolutely move. He
He's
just can't score.
40, and he's got 400 pairs of shoes.
And he defends the best player on the court all the time.
Yeah, he held
Do you
KD
see-
to 50 points during the Nets series.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, he did. He did do that. Do you see a Darko Milicic type player in this draft who is initially considered a bust but prospers when he finds the right role on the right team?
Yeah, there is
All
nothing
right.
like Timberwolves Darko. I agree with that.
No.
Yeah, no.
All right. Fair enough.
Mike's Timberwolves is getting out of control.
Do we all hate this Andrew Funk guy as much as I do?
Is that the kid from Penn State you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
No,
Seth
yeah, we
Lundy.
do that, guys.
Seth Lundy, also a Penn State guy, big 3-and-D wing, sleeper in the second round.
Got it. Player comparisons for each of us in this draft.
You
us?
three?
And you.
All right. Yeah, I guess you've played with all of us enough. My shot's gotten so much better, by the way.
No, it has
No,
not.
it hasn't.
Sam?
It has. What
I'm obviously Wembanyama.
No, Sam.
I'm thinking a little Derek Lively action for Sam. I don't know.
All right.
Anthony
Maybe
Randolph, yeah.
a little Leonard Miller for Ike.
Noted.
Here,
For
say something.
Mike. Let me think about this one.
Dude,
This
it's
is the
obviously
toughest.
Walker. It's obviously Walker.
Yeah.
Can guard 1 through 5, maybe a little undersized, strong. Maybe
That is a
can't
good
shoot.
comparison. I like
It's
that
obviously
comparison.
Walker. It's clearly
I
Walker.
I actually like the Darius Walker comparison.
Yeah.
A poor man's Jarris Walker. I love that.
All right, moving on. Would Kareem Abdul-Jabbar lose in the first round to Monaco?
Oh, totally.
Okay.
He's so old.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So maybe now I have a little bit of trivia for everyone. You can all guess.
Oh, okay.
Do you guys know the only 2 undrafted All-Stars ever?
Jokic.
Undrafted.
Oh,
No,
undrafted.
Jokic is
Jokic,
drafted.
undrafted.
Yeah.
Drafted.
There were 2 centers from the early 2000s.
Fuck.
Zinedros Ilgauskas.
Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace
is one of them.
Yeah, great
Ben
guess,
Wallace.
Mike.
Yep.
The other one played for the Timberwolves. He wasn't an all-star for the Timberwolves.
Al Jefferson?
Nope. He was a honky.
He's a honky.
White boy.
Walker Kessler. No, Walker Kessler.
Brian Cardinal.
What the hell kind of guess was
I'm
that?
sorry. Sorry, feeling my bad.
Undrafted.
My bad.
Early 2000s.
My bad.
Whew. Brad Miller.
Ooh.
Oh my God, I forgot about Brad.
On the
Miller.
Kings? Was he an all-star on the
That's
Kings?
fine. It's
That's
okay
my
to forget
guess,
about
yeah.
Brad Miller. It's okay to forget
Do you
about
guys know the first ever non-American player drafted? First overall.
No shot.
Yao
Wait,
Ming.
Michael should know.
Yao Ming?
Hakeem Olajuwon.
No.
What?
No.
The Jordan year?
No.
It was.
It's
okay,
Michael
so-
Thompson. Clay Thompson's father, and spelt
Really?
like Michael
Number
Morris.
2
Yes.
overall.
Is he Canadian? Where is he from?
No, I think he's from the Caribbean. There have been 8 first overall international picks since 2000. Can you name them? Internationally born.
Only 8?
Only 8
Only
first overall.
I'm so
First
tickled
overall.
right now. I couldn't name
Carl
one.
Anthony Towns.
No, he was born in the U.S. Tough first guess, Sam.
Okay, fine.
Upper one.
Ben Simmons.
Yes.
Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving.
Yes.
That's mine. Anthony Bennett.
Yes.
Anthony
Yep.
Bennett.
Canadian.
Canada.
Canadian. Wow.
Yep.
Then Andrew Wiggins.
Oh, Wiggins. Yeah.
Since what year?
2000.
Oh.
You said one of them earlier, Sam. Yes.
Zinedros Ilgauskas.
No, Yao Ming. 5.
All right, so that's 5.
3 more.
Marc Gasol.
Not even close. No.
MB didn't go 1.
No, sir.
Positions.
These are all centers. You could maybe call one of them a power forward.
Why are all of them always centers? Dirk?
No.
No.
He was drafted in the 90s.
Yeah.
Not 1-1 either.
Darko.
One of them won a
No, he went
nope.
third.
One of them won a championship with the Warriors.
Bogut.
Yes.
Bogut? Oh.
Yes, Bogut. Bogut was
Andrew
from
Bogut was
Australia.
drafted
Number
1?
1 overall.
Yeah, out of Utah.
That's insane.
Andrea Bargnani.
Bagnani.
And then the last one still plays right now. It's relatively recent. From
Kristaps? No.
DeAndre Ayton.
Oh right, yeah, Bahamas.
Bahamas.
Hey,
Okay.
man.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you just do one more. I gotta get going.
Okay.
And I have a quick one for Sam, and then let's I'll have you wrap us up.
Okay. Oh, you want me to go first?
I can go first if you want to choose your last question.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, Sam. One guy for us to watch out for that's in like high school at the moment. One guy you want us to be like this kid's gonna be special.
Well, I already said Cameron Boozer, so I'll take him off the board, and I'll give you
overall.
Eli Ellis.
no. He follows me on Twitter though, so maybe. I'll give
He follows you on Twitter?
Yeah, of course. My guy. Come on, dude. But I'd say two other guys in the 2025 class. I love that class. That's probably, it's better than 2024 to me. But Cooper Flagg, he's from Maine. He plays at Montverde.
Yeah.
Yep. He's a big-time
really
prospect.
good,
He does a lot. Yeah, he does a lot. And then Koa Pete, he plays at Perry High School in Arizona. Those are the two guys.
So,
both in
Sam,
the
what you've just
class.
done is you said, I can't take Boozer because we already talked about it. Then you took number 2 and 3.
Yeah, those are the two guys, the two other guys to watch for sure.
You know,
those two could debatably be number 1 in 2024. All three of those guys debatably could be number 1 in 2024.
It's gonna be. I feel like it'll be Boozer just off name.
It is.
No, 100%. I mean, he's an absolute dog. But
how much
does
the
brother's
name really carry?
Wait, a lot. What's his brother's name?
Caden.
He's just not as good.
He's good. He's good.
I feel like I was hearing about them a lot equally, and how Cameron's kind of skyrocketed a little bit.
Well, Cameron's like 6'9", and Caden's probably 6'3".
That would suck.
Yeah, so it's a little bit.
Yeah,
but Caden's good. He's top 25 in that class.
That's tough.
Yeah, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, I like all three of those.
Taller than me.
Might have to kill him.
All right, Ike. Last question.
Okay. Just how overrated is Bronny James Jr.?
Bryce better.
That's a great last question. It depends what outlet you look on. I mean, truly, you're not.
What does ESPN have him at?
I don't know. It's probably.
What about your outlet?
25. My outlet.
Okay.
I don't work for any outlet.
He's not going to start
That's
at USC this upcoming year, but he's still going to be probably a lot.
So if he's ranked 25, how overrated is he?
A little bit. I mean, it's hard to just put him in a box and just not even think about LeBron. So, I mean, his genes have to come into the picture at some point, I think. But what he is right now, I mean, he's definitely a top 50 player, top 40, top 30, you could argue, top 25.
Would you argue?
I think that's a little high. Yeah, totally. I mean, I love his game. Don't get me wrong. I really
So
do.
you'd put him between 25 and 30?
For the
Probably.
record,
bold take.
I don't think he was a McDonald's. I'm not sure he should have been a McDonald's All-American.
What do you think of Bryce? Sorry, what do you think of Bryce, though?
No.
You don't like Bryce?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. I like Bronny. I like Bronny, though.
Right.
I think maybe I've just seen a lot of Bryce, but, I mean, he's going to really have to – I mean, it's just tough with him. I mean, the social media, like how everyone posts every basket he has, it's tough, man. And it's the same. It was the same with Bronny. It's the same with both of those guys. They're going to get posted for every bucket they get, every big-time block they get, every big-time dunk they get. So it's always going to seem like they're – good.
Was it true that his like AAU team wasn't playing in like top level tournaments when he was doing well? That's what I was hearing. They were playing.
No, they were playing in the EYBL. They were 16U, and they're still playing. They just canceled their 17U team this year because it was not very good. But the 16U team was playing, and they will be playing at a couple of upcoming events I'll be at. So I'll let you know after that. But just I'm not too high on Bryce.
For the record, Bronny James is ranked 20th in the ESPN 100 of 2023. We'll see.
And that may be a little high, but I mean, when you have the LeBron clutch influence in your ear, I mean, of course that's going to happen.
Clutch runs the world. All right, Ike, you want to wrap us up?
I'm going to let Sam Kaiser wrap us up.
What do you want me to say?
Oh, sorry, beat that. Yeah. Beat that. Yeah, all right, I'll do it. Mike, one question I didn't get to ask tonight is, Sam, is there anyone in the draft who you'd say, like, he gets kind of a lot of attention for being on teams that are relevant, and everyone says he has a dog in him, but when you look closely, the dog is a chihuahua without teeth? Kind of like...
I don't know. You got to tell me.
He gets into big situations, and everyone praises him for getting into big situations. But when he gets in the big situations, he kind of always falters.
Who are we talking here?
You guys think of anyone? Like an NBA player? Who, like... Fuck. Maybe like someone... Jimmy Butler, maybe?
You gotta let it go. It's becoming an obsession.
Do you have like a Jimmy Butler
You gotta let this go, dog. You need
that wasn't even meant with any
learn
question.
to forgive.
All right, whatever.
There's a lot
Let's
of power
wrap
to
up
forgiveness.
our episode like Jimmy wraps up his every year without a win, without winning anything.
Have you guys
Congrats
ever
to them.
won? You love
Let's
throwing. You
wrap
love throwing
it up.
glasses.